here for technical attention. Transforming Media Network needs the recording in action. Here for
well, at least then I don't have to hear my voice from my thing. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Compassionate Citizen podcast. I'm here with Kurt Roskopf, Lana Walsh, and Mr. Doug Roy. Over to you, Kurt.
Right, there you go, Emily. We have the ingredients to magically put people to sleep. But oh no, my name is Kurt Roskopf, and I'm your co-host here with Emily Gollmer. We're going to have a lively show, actually, and it's going to be bringing out the elements of compassion. So start to set your minds on how can magic bring forth compassion? How does sleep play a role in compassion? It all is contributing to our work here at the Compassionate Citizens Podcast, and we hope you enjoy the voyage of the next hour ahead, and we're going to get down to it. So to lay the groundwork, I want to make sure everybody knows the basis of this podcast. This podcast was inspired through a gentleman by the name of Norland Dimmitt out of Chicagoland area. This was something that was a discussion about the work that he has been doing all his life to build compassionate communities. This is inspired through the faith community, actually. The faith community is out there with some of people in these groups saying, with our politics, maybe there's some more room for compassion in how we use our governmental system, how we work towards assigning the officials we need to represent us and what we're doing as citizens. So what we've done is we have unfolded that conversation to span across other elements of our life. How about in the volunteering that we do? How about what we do at libraries or any educational opportunity that comes before us? Where is compassionate at the workplace? So in the fun things that we do, let's think of sports. In sports, we're always trying to teach our kids about sportsmanship, right? So this is something that has a ton of potential, and the group here we have met each other through the Happy Neighborhood Project, which has a mission of spreading happiness around the globe. So it all fits hand in hand that we are here to serve each other's life, be of service, and to think beyond ourselves. But to get started, we're going to bring our guests into here and we're going to learn about them, and we're going to find out, where this conversation is going and the specialty of our guests. So we're going to go to Doug. Doug, you're going to get us started, because what a way to start a show, but magically. And you are coming in here as a virtual magician, and we kind of get that because the last year and a half, approaching 2 years, has kind of thrown us that curveball of things that are fun to do in person. We didn't do it as much in the last year and a half, and you created a way to do it virtually, and you have done me the honor of having me on your promo video. So let's start there. I've been on your promo video, and maybe we can work on it to make that available in your timing out to our audience. But until that becomes possible, what is your promo video all about, and what are you trying to do, inviting people through what people are seeing me as an example of in your magic?
Kurt, great to be on the show. So the promo video is what we did, and you were part of that show, is my couples show. So I do a Zoom show. It's very customized. It's the only type of show that I know of in the world, really. It's all focused on love, romance, all that good feeling for couples, either me plus a couple. So it's a an anniversary trip, because it could be done anywhere where a couple is vacationing or on their anniversary trip, or on honeymoon couple after an awesome wedding. It's just me plus the couple. It's customized with their own personal information, some pictures, information about them that the other doesn't know. And it's all customers. It's total fun. And they get a couple of keepsakes. And then the other version is my group date night show, where 4 couples and me, those couples could be anywhere in the world. They could be best friends, separated over the miles, over the years, and they want to get back together and just have a fun date with their wife, their significant other, on the same call, the same show, with 3 other couple friends that they all, ideally they all know each other. So it's a lot of fun. One person books on behalf of the other 3 couples. But it's very unique. Those are my romance shows, either me plus 1 or me plus 4 couples. And Kurt, it was great to have you as part of that, you and your wife on that me plus the couple show, and great reactions. And I was able to take a couple, a shot of, some footage of your reactions. You're laughing with your wife, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, and it just brings that emotional positive element. Wherever people are, they're isolated in many cases, even different countries around the world. As long as they speak English, I can deliver that show to them.
Awesome stuff. I know I enjoyed the night. It was quite well done, and I know you were just doing it to work on what you were going to do ongoing. So given that I was your guinea pig, I have great confidence that people here forever forward are going to just thoroughly enjoy what you're bringing to them through your virtual magic and everything. So Lana, come on in here and let us know about, let's start with this idea of couples, because when couples are, sleeping, and whatever, there's those issues. There's like actual beds made because one person sleeping on one side of the bed, maybe is looking for a different type of comfort, whatever. So couples affect each other with sleep. So let's start there. Let's make that the icebreaker of people understanding what you do through what you potentially can do as a sleep coach for us couples.
Yeah, well, it's true. What your partner does actually affects your sleep. Lots of people say, I can't sleep without my partner beside me. But every time your partner moves, it actually disrupts your sleep. So if you are struggling to sleep, I sometimes suggest, while you're trying to get yourself back on track, to maybe sleep separately, even for a few weeks, just to get your sleep on track, because what they do really does affect you. I also know this couple that they had to buy one of those, I can't remember what they're called, the beds where they are adjustable, where you can sit up and lie down.
Sleep number?
Pardon?
Sleep number, maybe? That's one of those, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But the husband snores so bad, it disturbed her so much that they had to buy one of these beds so he could sit up a little bit in bed at night to stop the snoring, so she could actually sleep through the night. So what your partner does really does affect you at night. And if it's keeping you from sleeping soundly through the night, then you might want to consider some alternate options to try and get your sleep on track so that you are waking up feeling rested and fully refreshed. So yeah, it's interesting, couples, they tend to go to bed at the same time, but it doesn't necessarily always work for both sides. So, really understanding what your sleep needs are and how you sleep and how different things can affect you is very important to getting yourself a full night's sleep. And sometimes that means making some less conventional decisions about your sleeping arrangements. I don't know what happened to Kurt.
Did you lose Kurt?
Did he pop off accidentally?
Take it away, Emily.
Well, that's awesome. Let me. Yeah, Doug, do you have any thoughts on what?
No, Lana, do you have great points. Yeah, those are great points because, sometimes, if I go to sleep before my wife, then I don't hear her snoring, which is a good thing. But if I try to come in late and she's already asleep, And if she's snoring, I'm like, okay, then so it takes a few extra minutes for me to kind of get in that mode of sleep. So that, and if I don't get at least, I can survive on 6 hours sleep. But if I don't get 6, or if I get 5.5 or 5, then that affects my day and my productivity. And I have to be on my game with my shows every time. And so I can't be like, okay, it just doesn't work in my world. So sleep is critical.
It is absolutely,
Very,
it's
very
absolutely
important.
critical. Yeah. Yeah. So Doug, what kind of magic can you do virtually? That's like, what is it that you can show? Because it's so hard. Like when you see something up close, it really, but how do you do that virtually on camera?
No, that's a good question. I'm a mentalist, so I don't just make something disappear in one hand and reappear in another hand. I don't do card sleights or manipulations. I'm a mentalist, so I go in the left brain, influence people's choices, decisions, and those things, and which was able to pivot very effectively virtually because I can send a prediction. So I do predictions, mind readings, clairvoyance type of effects, and so I can send a prediction in real time to you now. And you receive the text or the email on your email or your phone. And then I go through the presentation. I say, okay, I sent something before we even started. So it really translates well as a mentalist for the whole virtual world. And if it's international, then I go email. If it's local, then I put, or US, I send messages by text. And I have cards, and I have blindfolds, and I have just a real simple setup, but it really works well. And if Kurt wants me to do a demo, I can actually do a demo.
Mm-hmm. Well, so who would be like a famous mentalist that people could understand, like what you do?
There's a few that's on America's Got Talent. There's a few in Europe. I don't really know the names of the popular ones. I'm kind of in my different lane, but they're out there, and there's not a whole lot. You have the two lanes, either traditional magic and mentalist. There's a lot less mentalist than in your traditional, close up, like cups and balls, and where's the cup, and the card sleights, and making a card disappear and reappear in someone's pocket. So the mentalist is a little different lane, but it's far more impactful on someone's mind, because usually with the other is, there's a sleight of hand, or there's a gimmick box on stage or something that's just not quite what you see. It's an illusion. But when you deal with, sending things to people's mind, where do you go? How do you wrap your mind around it?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So I think, what's the guy's name that does the levitation? Chris Angel
out of Vegas.
Yeah. Doesn't he do a little bit of mentalist stuff too, where somebody writes something on their forehead?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't follow him.
Okay. Yeah.
He does some really unusual stuff. David Blaine is more my idol. He doesn't really do mentalism, but he does legitimate, crazy street magic. I love to do that down the street, just downtown, Main Street clubs, bars, and, kind of practice new routines close up. And my thing is I enjoy the intimacy. So small groups. I'm not a big stage, not a David Copperfield guy, but when I can get a small group, 2, 3, 4, 10 people in front of me, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. So when you do the couples thing, then is this like where they really get to learn something new about each other through what you do? Yeah,
there's a presentation where I take them back to when they first met, and they share with me by email individually what first attracted them to the other person. And then I reveal that in a very surprising way, which ends up in a keepsake that I physically mail to the couple. And then they get a video of the entire show. And then I get a digital keepsake that I give to them at the end of the show. So a couple special keepsakes that make it even more memorable, plus the actual video. And when you deal with emotions and love and romance, it's hard to describe, because it brings that. And I tell at the very beginning that this show is fueled by your love. You both will. I'm not the star. You guys are the star, and I'm directing. But everything, you'll make decisions. You'll play key roles in everything. And so it's the magic of love that brings them together. And that's the title of the show, The Magic of Love.
That sounds really interesting. I mean, I've been single for a really, really long time, so I can't even imagine what that might be like. But if I think back to some previous relationships, it might have been really interesting to learn some of those things about each other, right?
And then I do one routine where I have a board with 5 slots, 2 boards, they each have 5 slots. And I show pictures of 10 like value, things of value, like security, income, health, just typical things that are value to, common points of value. And I turn over, I give him the chance. I say, okay, here's the 10 pictures. I turn them over. I said, you're going to choose 5 pictures and you're going to discard 5. And then the 5 you choose, you're going to choose which position on the board you're going to place them. And then she does it. And I say, now let's see how well you guys connect in these things of value. And there's a surprise ending. It's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I think that sounds like a good, couples, friends get together night. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it just brings everyone together. The bond, it enhances that element, that connection, that relationship in a fun way, whether it be a date night or, again, it's the location, because it's Zoom, it could be anywhere. So I'm reaching out to like wedding planners, and it's a great gift for a wedding gift to do a Zoom show where the couple is vacationing, or if they stay, do a staycation, I can do that show right to them wherever they are. So it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I don't know if Kurt wanted me to do a demo, but I don't know, Emily, you're the boss. Do you want me to do a little demo? Do we have time? Or are we moving on with other things, or you're the director here?
No, truly back, but if you want to do a very quick demo.
Okay. It's Lana, is it? Lana?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say you're easily influenced?
I could be, yes.
Okay. Well, I have a little test that shows that actually you are. You're going to make a series of choices which will lead to one playing card. And I already know the card you're going to go to because I will influence all of those choices by tapping into your left brain. So give me a color, red or black?
Red.
Oh, this is going to work out really well. Perfect. So that goes with hearts or diamonds, since you said red. So choose a suit right now, hearts or diamonds.
Hearts.
Perfect. Now we have values. So you have the picture cards, which will include ace. So ace, jack, queen, king, or you have the numbers 2 through 10. Which of those 2 groups is coming into your mind now? The picture cards or the number cards?
Pictures.
Pictures. Try and make, okay, so a little easier on me because there's less pictures than the numbers. So you have the jack, ace, jack, queen, or king. So which of those values is coming into your mind right now?
Queen.
Queen of hearts. Okay, would you say those are free choices, or do you think I somehow influenced them?
Well, I would say free choices, but
Queen of hearts, right? Before we started, I put a deck of cards in this envelope right here.
Yeah.
And I turn one card upside down. So 51 cards face up, 1 card face down. And it was the Queen of Hearts, correct? One card the other way, out of all of them.
Yeah.
And it is indeed the Queen of Hearts.
Wow, that was pretty cool.
So you are influenced a little more than you think you are.
Yeah.
And that's just a little sample of what I do. And I can send a card to someone's mind directly through the camera. It doesn't, it's you don't feel anything, but a card comes into your mind and it's pretty cool. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty cool.
So Lana, do you coach sleeping techniques, methods, or how, or what's the, options for types of beds? I mean, what's the gamut? What's the range of what you do as coach? And
Mm-hmm. So I coach a program that's called CBT-I, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Insomnia. And it was designed at Harvard University. It's based on science and clinically proven to work. And so but it's only been around for about a decade. So a lot of people don't know about it. So a big part of my coaching is doing stuff like this, where I can just talk about it, because millions of people have trouble sleeping at night, and they're going on the internet and looking for answers, but they're not finding this specific answer.
My son-in-law has that issue. So now I know who to refer you to.
Yeah, exactly. So I help adults who have insomnia, which is basically they toss and turn at night and can't sleep fully through the night. And it's a CBT-I is a combination of sleep education, relaxation techniques and stress reduction strategies, and then specific sleep strategies that help reprogram your brain to remember to sleep, how to sleep through the night. So that's the basis of it. And I do have a program, it's only 6 weeks long, but I guarantee that you'll be sleeping better by the end of those 6 weeks.
And it actually deals with the brain, the whole programming. Wow.
Right. Yeah, because so the thing is about insomnia, it's a sleep disorder that people think is physical, a physiological issue. So that's why they're taking medications or supplements, or they're getting the right bed and blackout blinds and turning down the temperature. And all of those things are good. Well, pills aren't the good thing to do, but all of those things can be helpful if you're already sleeping well. But when you have insomnia, it becomes a psychological issue.
Yeah.
Where your subconscious brain it's kind of like Pavlov's dog, right? Pavlov's dog learned how to salivate at the sound of a bell. Well, for people with insomnia, they learn that the bed is not the place where they sleep. So they go to bed at night, but then they wake up, or they have trouble going to sleep, or they wake up really early in the morning, an hour or two before their alarm goes off, and can't go back to sleep. And this is all part of the subconscious brain learning that this is not a place to sleep. And so part of it is reprogramming the brain to remember that the bed is where you sleep and that you can sleep through the full night. That is a big part of it. The other big part of it is reducing stress and anxiety. It's the number one reason people can't sleep. Even if you're a good sleeper all the time, when you're under extreme stress or anxiety, it's very normal to have difficulty sleeping.
So they kind of go together, hand in the glove. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The stats are something like 50% of people with insomnia also have mental health challenges with depression, anxiety, stress. Yeah. And then the other way, about 83% of people with depression also have insomnia. So it's very much connected.
Yeah, a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does your sessions look like? 1 hour, 6 weeks, or how does that work? How does that look?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. 1 hour a week. So each week you learn something and you implement a strategy. And then the next week you build on that strategy. You add another technique. So it's like, because any subconscious behavior is like, it's a habit, right? So to change a habit, it takes a process, and it takes re-implementing the strategies over and over and over again until it becomes a subconscious habit to do that.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
And I magically made Kurt reappear. So
yeah, good stuff. So Doug, what would be a story for people to get to know you in your lifetime? What sticks out in your mind being asked on the spot like this? When I'm like, Doug, what's a story about you being compassionate? What would that be?
Well, I love doing random magic where I find people and not paid, no motivation other than just to give someone a wonderful moment in a day, whether that be a cashier, whether that be anyone, a student walking home from school, and they never forget it. And that's what I love to do. And it's great to do something where, now don't tell don't let the word out, but I would do this for free, because I love it so much. And I have a weekly gig for the month of October at a beer festival. And I saw a couple that was there. She was in a wheelchair. He was obviously her spouse, and just a nice, aura about them. Obviously he cares very much for her, and they just, I could tell there's a very good special bond there. So I got down a little bit low and showed her one of my tricks up front, and just the smiles. And it was probably the highlight of my day. And because, the challenges they have to face, she faces, and he to take care of her. So I just wanted give them a little mini show close up for them.
Excellent. Good stuff. So Lana, how about you? What's a story about you in your life, living yourself, being compassionate? How do we experience that? Would be a story that you would have that comes to the top of your mind being asked on the spot like this?
Yeah, well, I have spent almost my entire adult life working in nonprofits because my life is about helping others. I've always had this feeling that I could do something for other people. And so I've always been drawn into those kinds of organizations. And really, when it comes to sleep, that's exactly what I want to do. My life has been absolutely transformed. I had 30 years of insomnia. And when I found the solution, my life has been, it's 100% different. I can't even explain how much different my life is. And I want other people to feel this good every day like I do, to get a good night rest, to be wake up and be fully engaged in their life, to not have that energy suck of just trying to get through the day, but to be fully engaged with their family, fully engaged at work, to not have that struggle to keep your temper in order, because that's one of the side effects of not sleeping is you're more likely to yell at people. So just to feel good, be happy, and engage in your life. When I help people and I see the difference their lives are, I can't tell you how good it makes me feel to know that I help them do that.
It's life-changing, which is awesome.
It is life-changing, absolutely.
Right. So Doug, as she was describing all of that, I figure you as an entertainer doing the same things, that you help us get away from just going through the motions, just feeling like gerbils turning the hamster wheel, and and then the engagement you have to do as an entertainer. You want to speak to that a little bit? What do you do? What are tricks of the trade for you that when people maybe are showing up to your show and maybe they're not in that mindset that they're there, they need it, but maybe they're shifting from something that happened an hour earlier?
Yeah, and I get that all, frequently, the reactions. It's emotional. It's nostalgic. It takes people back to when they were a kid, when everything was magic. And the greatest reaction is when someone you see it in their eye. There's no words. They just physically, spontaneously give me a hug. And that's it. There's no need for words. And it transforms that moment. And I tell people after my shows and when I do a little, group, I said, now here's a thought for the day. Magic is everywhere. You just got to keep your eyes open for it. And the magic is in a child's smile. It's in, an old couple walking, holding hands, someone who's just smiling, just having a special moment, babies being born, just the simple things, there's magic everywhere. We just got to, train our minds and our eyes to look for those moments and not pass them up. And that's the real magic. I use magic as a tool to bring that moment to people and help them understand, magic is everywhere.
That's so true, Doug. Like we, as adults, we start to lose our ability to see life as magical, like that this stuff is here. Like we've manifested so many of these things as, individuals building, creating new things. And it truly is magical to see some of this stuff come to life right in front of our eyes. Like how much has the world changed in like our lifetime? It's truly fascinating and magical.
Exactly. I mean, a hummingbird going from one flower to another, the sunrise coming up over our mountain, I see here, the sunset, the beauty of the cloud. I mean, just in nature, the simple magic of the sound of a water running, in a stream. I mean, there's just so many elements, and we just keep our eyes open and just kind of tune in to those things. And I try to direct that thought process through magic. And it's just, I could do it day in, day out. When I'm at a gig, I stay longer off the clock just to show people what I do and bring a smile. And when the kids, I see kids and I do a little usual ring behind the ear or take the finger off, and their look is like, what just happened? So I tell the parents, that's why I do magic. But yeah, we're all just big kids. Every day can be a magic moment if we just allow it.
Yeah, exactly. We get so caught up in our lives, we forget that, all of this stuff is really, it's truly, I don't know, you can just like lose yourself in nature, and you can just appreciate. That's one of the things we don't do enough of. We don't appreciate all of these things that are just, they just happen. And
the emotional health that comes to that. I'm a wellness guy, and so this ad that takes care of that little lane of just emotional wellness, of the happy endorphins, and just like wow, or just they never forget it. When I do wedding gigs, adding a little touch of a little cherry on top of a magical day or magical event, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just being out in nature can just reduce your stress and anxiety just by getting some sunshine and being out in nature and just being mindful, right? Taking in that experience and not constantly thinking and talking and creating and doing, like just be in the moment and experience it as if it's for the first time. That just makes it so magical.
Yeah. Good question, Mr. Kurt.
Well, Lana, Doug kind of shared in his story about how, people kind of, embrace the experience that he delivers. And, I propose, or I'm thinking that this must be happening in what you do, because like you said, you are serving insomnia potentially, and I can't imagine, what it is to regain a sleep pattern or to develop a sleep pattern at all, maybe for the first time in life. And you're providing that to people. So tell us some stories or examples about how, you have extended that into somebody's life, and they have just been trying to express their gratitude to you for what you're doing as a sleep coach.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one of my client stories. She struggled with insomnia for over 30 years. She was like me. She was also like me, where she felt like she was going to lose her job. She said to me, like, I can't lose any more time at work because of my sleep. I have to fix this. She was actually had her work schedule was set up so she could take Wednesdays off, so she could just actually sleep in if she needed to. She was on sleeping pills. She was taking an over-the-counter medication as well. And she had trouble sleeping every night of the week. She had trouble either going to sleep or staying asleep, sometimes both. And when she first started working with me, her first week in the program, she was awake 5.5 hours one night. And I honestly don't know how she was functioning when she was awake for 5.5 hours. But by the end of the program, she only had trouble sleeping 3 nights. And her worst night, she was only awake 1.5 hours. And she couldn't believe the difference it made in her life. She no longer worried about getting up and going to work or being productive at work. She stopped having that worry about being fired because she was missing so much time at work. It absolutely changed her life. And she's actually referred multiple people to my program because she just feels so good about her sleep. And it's been a year since she went through my program, and she still is sleeping well. And I just can't, and I know exactly how she felt, because that's how I was. I didn't hold a job for more than 2 years because I always had that fear that they were recognizing I was sick a lot and I was late a lot and I wasn't as productive. So I completely understood her situation. And I'm so happy for her and everybody that I've worked with in how much their lives have changed, because they fixed it. Just this one thing. This one thing fixes a lot of different things.
Well, sleep affects your whole life.
It absolutely does.
Relationships, I mean, everything, your whole mindset. It's just.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So Doug, can't you come in here and just wave your magic wand and, somebody who's not sleeping well, can't you just wave a magic wand and say, you now will sleep good tonight? Can't you do that?
Well, that would affect people's livelihood and, income. So I just can't make it too,
You have a conscience, huh?
People be out of work, Kurt. People be out of work. So I just, that's my compassion towards those that work with these skills, these specialists.
Right.
That's my gift.
All right. Well, Doug, can you take a moment for our audience here? If we're kind of captivating them and what you provide in virtual magic and your program for couples and everything. We're talking about it. It's like a tease. We're teasing them on that it's out there and you've got it, but maybe we can help them out by maybe phone number, email address, website, social media. Let people know, how do they dive into your virtual magic world and be able to tap what you offer?
It's just DougRoyMagic.com is my website. DougRoyMagic.com/couples is my couples page. I just say everyone's home is my stage, and I bring that front row seat right to a home. And it's just the whole COVID thing really opened up my world. When I did a show for a family of 4 in Israel, and their camera went on, and I'm looking into the living room of a family in Israel, that blew my mind before the show even started. And so I can, and I did my own family reunion when it got canceled. I said, forget this, we're going to do a family reunion. We'll do it virtual. And I got actually emotional before the show started, first time ever, because I was getting ready to perform, and I saw cousins I hadn't seen in years virtually. So DougRoyMagic.com. It's my phone number on there. My email as Doug at DougRoyMagic.com is my email. And I can do shows anywhere in the world. I can, and military, right? If someone's stationed overseas, I can do one for their family here and them there, and bring it all together. And I can do all ages too. I can do 4-year-olds all the way up to 99 plus. So.
Awesome. Good stuff. Thank you. So Lana, same for you. We don't want anybody laying awake at night because of this show and being like, oh, I wish I could contact Lana and I can't, So how do they contact you?
Yeah, I'm at lanawalshcoaching.ca, and my email address is lana@lanawalshcoaching.ca. It's really easy. And yeah, if you go to my website, please go ahead and book an appointment with me. I do free one-on-one 30-minute calls where I help you bust through your insomnia. I will give you one specific strategy that you can start using immediately that's specific to what is going on with your sleep right now. So yeah, if you go to my website, I would be happy and book that call. I'd be happy to meet with you.
Alana, for those clients that you're working through, getting them that transition to a good night's sleep, those at the beginning stages where they have time in the middle of the night, I can entertain them. Just, during the transition process to kind of bring some smiles during that, and then they're good.
Right. And actually, one of the strategies is to not lay in bed and toss and turn, to get up and do something relaxing. So if you can do a relaxing trick to get them back to sleep, we could work hand in hand. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good reveal, a good spoiler alert, with the advertisement that Doug has on me. I'm sitting there laughing and everything, but people don't know that I was actually falling asleep during his performance right before that. And he woke me up and I was just laughing. Just kidding. So, we entertainers, we got to be careful about how we offer our services for people who are having trouble sleeping. But that's what I do with my radio show, that I do on Wednesday nights with River West Radio. I tell people, hey, if you're having trouble sleeping, just tune into Ability MKE now, and we'll have you asleep in minutes. Ha ha ha. Emily, did you like that one? Emily wasn't laughing with us. Everything okay there, Emily? Are you falling asleep on us?
Yeah, sure.
Are you just in awe over this conversation? Are you perplexed?
Yes, very in awe.
All right. So, Emily, what do you think of our compassionate citizens today? What remarks do you have? What evaluation? What's the, Emily was recognized a couple months ago as our compassionate citizen of the week. We always lean on her for her expertise. So, what are you thinking, Emily, about our friends Lana and Doug here? How are they doing in the area of compassion?
Great.
Great.
While you were gone, Kurt, Mr. Doug did one of his tricks with Lana.
Which was making me disappear. I heard him say that when I came back.
I guess that was maybe one of them, but he did another one too.
Got to check up his sleeves. He's got a lot going on up there.
Yeah, he's gonna make Kurt disappear for 10 minutes, and then I'll do another trick and then bring him back.
That reminds me of a story or experience if you want me to share it. It's kind of funny.
Go right ahead.
So I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Korea many years ago, and I was known as the mission magician. And I had heard about this gag, but I'd never really done it. Well, I'm like, okay, this will be a fun time. I know it will work, so I'll just put it together. So what it was, we had a talent show with all the missionaries for like Christmas. I think it was like a Christmas, kind of a get-together dinner and just kind of hanging out. And I took my coat jacket, opened it up so the inside was laid out, and I took a handkerchief and I sewed the top of the handkerchief into the coat. And then I took the bottom and flipped it and mashed it. So I basically folded the handkerchief up in half inside the coat against the back of my coat. And I took a thread and I weaved it really loosely, about 4 or 5 loops, to hold the bottom flap against the top one. And then I let the string go down through my arm, through my sleeve, and I tied it onto like a handkerchief, like a really bright, like a silk handkerchief. And I had the corner sticking out. But before then, I took that little flap of the handkerchief that was folded in half, and I stuffed it with ping pong balls, cards, coins, just a big pocket of stuff. And it held together against the back when the coat is on. So if you look at the back, you see this big bulge underneath my coat. So then I told one of the missionaries on the front row, I said, when I come out, I want you to yell very loudly, "Hey, what's that up your sleeve?" And so I'm like, so we're perfectly shouting. I'm like, oh, okay, you caught me. And when I pulled that handkerchief out of my sleeve, it pulled that string out of that loose loop, which dropped because the weight, it dropped everything into that pocket, down back to my back and onto the stage. Ping pong balls were popped, were bouncing, and cards falling everywhere. And then I go, okay, now I have nothing up my sleeve. It was a funny moment. I've never done it since, but it worked perfectly for that show. So thanks. Yeah, it's all up my sleeve, Kurt. It's all up my sleeve.
There you go.
Yeah,
See, so
I'm
much
sure they enjoyed it over there in Korea.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yes. So much for magicians not revealing their secrets.
Yeah, only here.
We caught a
Only here.
secret right here at the Compassionate
privileged
Citizens
few.
podcast. There we go. It pays to watch the whole episode, folks. So Lana, what else did you have to share today? Anything else that you didn't get to share for us for what's in your wheelhouse, tricks up your sleeve and things like this? Any other tips, tricks, and techniques? Anything to leave for our audience as final messages here?
Yeah, so my number one, I'll give you 2 sleep tips for the audience today. So the first one was that I already shared, but which is to reduce stress and anxiety. It's the number one reason why people can't sleep. So one way to reduce your stress and anxiety is to do something fun, like go to see a virtual magician, get out with friends, do a Zoom call with your friends, watch a laugh out loud comedy, do something fun. That will help you reduce your stress and anxiety. But yeah, that's the number one tip. My second tip is to create a bedtime routine. So many times we get caught up in what we have to do every day that we are just go, 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 go. And then it's like, okay, now it's time for bed. And you expect to be relaxed and go to sleep. Well, yeah, Doug's like, yep, that's me. So one of the other strategies is to give yourself like an hour buffer. You know how we used to say you need to give yourself that buffer time between work and being at home so you can shut off work and you can be home with the family and you can separate the two? Well, you kind of need to do the same thing before you go to bed at night. So I say about an hour, but even 30 minutes would be enough just to shut down from the day, make your to-do list. If you have any stressors that came up, you can work on them, journal, meditate, whatever, and give yourself at least 30 minutes to do something completely relaxing that will prepare you to go to bed. And if you give yourself that time, then it's much easier when you get into bed to go to sleep. So those are my 2 sleep tips for people. But I also want to invite people. I'm doing a webinar on Thursday evening. It's at 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to share my secrets to waking up feeling rested and refreshed. So if you want to attend that, you can either email me or I'm sure I can pop in the comments at some point the link to that webinar. But yes, please join me. I'd be happy to share my information with you then. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I know Emily's got me signed up to be at that webinar. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for doing it. And
where do we sign up for that?
I'll pop it in the chat, and maybe Emily can pop it in the chats on the Facebook group. And yeah.
So is that available through also like an Eventbrite? Do you have it out there like in a LinkedIn post or?
I do have a LinkedIn post for that as well. That's my direct link to actually register for the event.
Yep.
And I do have a LinkedIn post. I'll pop that up as well.
All right, so at this point, I want to include some shout outs and references to the Happy Neighborhood Project, again, which is how a few of us got together. I met Emily through the work that she does at Onward and Upward, and I got introduced to that through a group called the Mutual Aid Network, but I ended up getting all of them involved in the Happy Neighborhood Project. But Doug and Lana and I met through the Happy Neighborhood Project. So Lana, you want to give any sort of remarks about your experience with HMP and how it's been beneficial to your adventures as a sleep coach and otherwise personally?
Yeah, well, I've been in business for about a year, but before this, like 20 years ago, I owned a business. I did a lot of in-person networking. And so when everything went virtual, I was like in this, I don't know what to do. And thankfully I found HNP, the Happy Neighborhood Project. because it's free. It's free networking. You can meet people from all over the world through this process. And it's just great to meet people, different backgrounds. They offer different products and services. And it's just really great to broaden your network, to meet more people, especially if you're in business. Meeting more people and expanding your network is one of the most important things you can do to grow business. And so I've just met some really fascinating people, and people who are willing to help you, even for free. Like, I had a meeting today with somebody who was just like giving me free advice because she just generally wants to help you. And that's what I found with the Happy Neighborhood Project. They just generally, people want to help. They want to get to know you, and they want to do what they can to support you.
So if folks want to join you at the HMP meetings that you tend to go to, how do people in the world enjoy the networking meetings like you do? How do they sign up?
Yeah, well, if you go to the Happy Neighborhood Project, I think .com is the email address, and go to the networking tab, and there are meetings all across Canada and the US. I think there's some international and worldwide meetings. There's business to business, there's business to consumer. They even have one for special groups, like they have an ability one, they have Black entrepreneurs, they have women only. There's just special interests as well. It's really fascinating. And you can go to any of them, whether you fit into the category or not, except the B2B. I go to the nomads one. These are a bunch of people who live out of their RVs and travel, but they have businesses, and I go to that one because they're just fascinating people. So yeah, there's lots you can do.
Excellent. So Doug, I want to throw you the opportunity that when you're in the situation to invite people and explain to them what the Happy Neighborhood Project is. You want to go ahead and share that, and then any references and shout outs that you have for what's all going on at HMP. And I know we're getting to the top of the hour here, so if either of you do have to get going, don't be bashful to pop out of here if you have something else to click on.
I got about 1 minute. I got about 1 minute, but I would definitely put a plug for HMP. I've been with that organization for just about a year, or actually over a year. And it's wonderful. Edwin's amazing. And you can click on to many different time slots, different places in the world. And people need more happiness. And again, that falls really well with what I do. And highly recommend that as a group for networking, good people. And there's lots of time options, which is nice for flexibility.
Absolutely. Thanks, Doug. We'll let you pop over.
It's been a great. Look forward to it. And I got your information, Lana, and I'll reach out to you.
Sounds good. Nice to meet you, Doug.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Emily. Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks, Doug.
I also have to go, so thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate you guys. This has been a lot of fun. I love talking to people about sleep. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome back anytime. And you can also check out our other podcasts. We'll let you get to your next event.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye.
You bet. Bye, Lana. All right, Emily, what do you all have in store for the conclusion to this, your Compassionate Citizens podcast?
Thank you to everybody who tuned in to today's show, and thank you to Doug and Lana, who were our guests today, and to thank everyone who has liked, shared, commented, so on in all our social media, to keep doing that. Keep going to our social media pages to keep updated. Over to you, Kurt.
All right. So I too thank everybody out there for enjoying this power hour here at the Compassionate Citizens podcast, made possible by and powered by Transforming Media Network and our collaborative efforts having grown throughout 2021, the World of Ability Podcast Network. Check out the background on this, our podcast series at worldofability.com/shows. And I encourage everybody, I was listening to one podcast sometime, one radio show, and the guy was talking about doing your Googles. So we're going to have a fun Googling experience. Just go to Google when your fingers are ready, or if you're using that voice activation, Google Emily Gollmer. Now that's a ride. Enjoy Googling Emily Gollmer and report back and make comments at our podcast postings. And you can also email your comments and remarks to me on anything. Ask me any questions, anything you'd like. Call me the wizard, call me the ambassador, call me a compassionate citizen, but just call me. If you want to call me at 262-3721-SKI. That's 262-372-1754. And again, that email address for me is Kurt, K-U-R-T, at thedisabilitychannel.us. And those of us with the Disability Channel in the US support in full the Disability Channel out of Canada, making it possible here. We wouldn't be here without them because it's founded and headquartered in Toronto. And with Niagara Falls going on right now as we're producing this podcast, friendly reminder to Emily, there's a drone ball drop going on right now and exciting entertainment with music and everything. Let's keep that support going to the Disability Channel. Check it out at thedisabilitychannel.ca. So with that, that's a wrap. That's our conclusion. We'll see you at our next show, Prosperity Pathways podcast. And then we have Friendly Fridays by Onward and Upward on Friday, obviously. And then World of Ability produced every Saturday. And you're seeing these shows throughout your week. And let's not forget about Ability MKE now on riverwestradio.com. Go to shows, go to riverwestradio.com, go to the shows tab. You can find right at the top of the list, Ability MK Now. You can tune into that every Wednesday, 7:30 Central out of Milwaukee. All right, Emily, take it away, because